Well, Southern Illinois has some pretty impressive offensive numbers. What's your impression?
I think they're well coached up front. They do a lot of things motion-wise and shifts, and they just do that to keep a defense in check, make sure they got all their rules and responsibilities in order, and it's going to be an interesting game. I'm excited to get in there and play it out, but I think we should be on top of things.
How important is it to start off conference play with a win?
It's extremely important to start with a win in this conference, especially in this conference. Each game is going to be a challenge. It's going to be a battle. This conference is the best in the FCS, and each week is going to prove that, show that, and you just got to focus on the game at hand.
Coach, you said in the past that the first 4 games was kind of like one half of the season when conference play. What have you learned about this team after the first 4 games?
We can bounce back, that's for sure. That's what I learned in the last week. We got pretty banged up at Michigan State, but we had a lot of young guys step up and play really well last weekend, and we're going to need them again this week. The focus this week is to get them to play better, get better throughout the week, and get better every day in practice. So we're definitely going to need everybody on the roster, and we're going to need the guys that are banged up to get back as soon as possible.
And can you talk about, Kyle, about starting the conference with 2 road games? I mean, I know you're not looking at Indiana State, but 2 tough places to play.
2 road games, back-to-back is big, but you got to get in that mindset of you're not going to have the comforts of home. And back-to-back could probably be better because you already have that mindset going into practice after 1 road game. And then you come back for 2 home games and, get comfortable at home again. But especially in this conference, it's nowhere easy to play. So
one of the things, I guess, the criticism of last year's team was they didn't respond well enough to adversity, and last year's Southern Illinois game was an example of that. So what do you remember from that game, and maybe how is this year's team different?
I remember last year being really, really heartbreaking, and that's the best way I can put it. I feel like they stole one from us last year. I think defense played really well, and from what I can remember, but we're going to need to click on all cylinders offensively, defensively, and special teams wise to go out in there and get this win, because they're a well improved team, and I think we're improved too, so we just got to go out there and match the intensity, especially on the road.
Kyle, will you find out just how good, or I guess for lack of a better term, bad this team is? I mean, now that you're through the non-conference, this is when you really figure out where you're at.
Exactly. Non-conference is all fine and dandy to get in and tune up some things, but conference is where you measure your team's ability, especially in this conference. You just have to stay focused and stay on top of your game and make sure you're doing the things you need to do, because every team in this conference has the ability to win on any given Saturday.
You saw a passing quarterback against Duquesne this past Saturday. Faulkner obviously could throw the ball. Is there a comparison with these 2 guys, or was that a good guy to face last week going into this game?
Duquesne's quarterback was really well coached, had some good mechanics and fundamentals. I honestly, I've been watching more some of the run game this week, but I remember Faulkner from last year. He's a decent quarterback. Got to keep him in the pocket like every week and focus on defensive line responsibilities. So.
Do you want more from the pass rush heading into conference play?
Do we want more?
Yeah.
Personally, I know I want more. I know that that's one thing that I need to focus on, is getting better in the passing game. But yeah, absolutely. Anytime you can get better at something, you'd want to get better at your fundamentals in the pass and run game and stuff like that. So over the past, we've been pretty stout in the run game. So the next step is get off blocks, and especially in play action, and go make some plays.
Bouncing back like you did off the Michigan State game against Duquesne, does this team feel like you guys are back on track?
I feel like we're getting there. We have like I said, we have young guys playing right now. They're getting in the swing of things, getting better each and every day. buying in more and more. And I mean, honestly, that's why you go through the grueling camp process, is to get those younger guys in tune with everything. So when they're called to step up, you know, they're ready to go.
Was other than Michigan State, was the schedule you guys faced grueling enough to get you physically and mentally prepared for what you know will be a grueling conference schedule?
You know, I think we played some good teams in beginning part of the season. Dayton's a well-coached team. You know, Michigan State, you know, that speaks for itself. But no game in college football is given to anybody. So it comes down to who prepares and who practices, and you know, who's ready to play on that Saturday. But you know, I think we took it as a time to get better. We won the games that we were supposed to win, and that's what ultimately comes down to in the beginning of the season, and then learning from the mistakes that you had in those games, and I guess in a way.
A lot of guys up front are fairly new. You know, they probably haven't started a game of this magnitude on the road. I mean, Michigan State was a big game, but conferences, like you said, is where it's at. Any kind of advice you passed on to them, or you're going to before this game?
On the D-line, we just focus on getting better every day. You know, they work really hard in practice, and we have a good team that we play every day in practice, so they really shouldn't have any, you know, shouldn't be nervous, shouldn't have any worries about it. We're just going away from home for a couple hours, and that's the only really difference. So.
What do you think of the progress they've made so far this year?
I think they're making progress. Making good progress. You know, we focus on 1 week at a time, one practice, one play, and you know, that's really important. And you know, Coach Sims works with them guys tremendously. You know, he keeps some of them after practice, and you know, we're doing extra little things to get better and to work on the things that we need to work on.
Go back to the game against Duquesne. When you guys gave up 14 straight points, it was a 24-14 game. Is that something you can? Is that like a lesson you guys can learn from giving up so many points that quickly on defense?
You know, yeah. I mean, that's just we can't allow things to happen like that. It comes down to fundamentals and responsibilities. And anytime you give up 14 quick points to a team, it's even whether you're winning or losing, you can't have that, because momentum swings and you know, things along that line. It's not good for a defense's morale.